All right, hey guys, welcome back to Traditional Bowhunting and Wilderness Podcast. It is now renamed to Samco Trad Bow because we don't call it the Traditional Bowhunting and Wilderness Podcast anymore, but we are here and we are going to talk about time in the woods, time to hunt. This is the thing I get asked the most. It is also, I don't want to use the word excuse, but it fits loosely, but the excuse I get. So we're going to dive into the scenarios here for you and put this into real world perspective, what you can do to get more time, but also what your expectations should be based on the amount of time that you have to hunt, okay? This is a reality thing. Understand that you cannot get good at anything if you don't put time in it, okay? You can't become a world-class pool player if you only play pool once a month on a league, okay? You don't get that luxury. The only reason I'm good at hunting is because I spend so much time out here, but I set up my life to do that, okay? You don't have to go that far, but you can't have the expectations to do that on public land if you don't put more time in, okay? Everything is a catch-22, a give or take, a yin and a yang. That's the way this works. There's no two ways about it, all right? So if you are somebody who is only able to hunt limited amount of times, it's the number one comment email I get all the time is, hey, how can I have better odds of killing a big deer? I only get to hunt about 10 days a year. You don't. The only way to up that is to hunt private land or go guided, okay? That's really it, okay? You don't get that luxury. You can scout more, yes. You can try harder, yes, but time in the woods matters more than anything else there is. Nothing makes you better. I don't care how many courses you take or what you watch or what you learn or any of that kind of stuff, but there's just time in the woods, okay? I hear that all the time. How do you, let's put it this way. Let's break it down. So if you are somebody who does not hunt as much as you wish you could, what are you going to do? What about your expectations first? If you're only getting a few days a year to hunt because of family obligations and things like that, and there's nothing wrong with that. Nothing at all, believe me. But if you only get a few days to hunt and you want to kill big deer, you're gonna probably need to suck it up, bite the bullet, and probably, like I said, find yourself some private property that you can do, or bait even, or whatever the case is. Find a way to maximize your few times that you are in the woods and use that to your advantage. If you're looking for big deer, if you're just looking to hunt deer, you can still be out doing public, you can be doing whatever, and just understand that your odds of taking 3 or 4 deer a year when you're only hunting 10 days a year gets really weak compared to somebody who gets to hunt 40 days a year taking 3 or 4 deer, okay? You have to put the reality of it into perspective. So if you are looking for big deer and you can't hunt much, hunt places that have big deer and high success rates and odds, okay? That's your best bet. You also can make that better by doing a lot of the summer and off-season scouting and the preseason scouting. Today we just got done. I've been out here, I did 6.8 miles in 4.5 hours. I was covering some ground. I was carrying a bow in case I ran into hogs, but I've killed 2 hogs in the last 2 days out. So today was more of a hit it hard looking for persimmons. Why? Swamp chestnuts are a dime a dozen. Even if this one's not producing, this one's probably gunning. It's not that hard. I know where they are, and I can walk, and I probably don't got to go far till I find something dropping and find some good stuff on them. Persimmons, on the other hand, I just did, like I said, 7 miles, and I found 2 hot persimmons, 1 mediocre persimmon, okay, and 7 miles of hiking. So those are a little bit harder. Well, you can do the same kind of thing. Just maximize your off-season time to make your in-season time much better. All right, and hunt places with better odds. Now, if you want to maximize your time in the woods, there's other things you can do. With your job is usually the biggest 2 factors for people are their job and family time. And I understand that more than you can ever imagine. Yet people think, I get it all the time. Oh, you have no idea what it's like. You're self-employed. You get to hunt whenever you want to. Yes, I do. You get to hunt 100 or 90 days a year and travel to all these different states and go spend 3 weeks in November, in different places. Yes, I do. Do you know how that happened? That happened because when I was with my girlfriend at the time, my wife now, but with my girlfriend at the time, and found at 28 years old actually I was 27 at the time, but at 27 years old, she was my girlfriend. We were engaged, but, so fiance technically, but when I found out we were pregnant with Bella, she basically, knowing my lifestyle and what I do, she's like, listen, you're going to have to give up some of the hunting stuff here. You can't be working 60 hours a week as an engineer for GM and then be gone on the weekends hunting. It's going to take a few years for this to, you need to be here. You can't do all of this now that we have a child. And I said, I would never do that to the family. Okay, we'll never do that. And then I spent the next couple of weeks thinking of how I can get my hunting time and yet do that. And I came up with an idea and I ran it by her. And then literally 3 months after Bella was born, before hunting season was here, right when hunting season was in full swing, I actually walked away from my engineering job, making well over $100,000 a year. I left it to start my own photography company to do for weddings, because it would allow me to work only on the weekends and have the whole entire week with my wife, with my new kid, and with my hunting time. So it was a win-win. I lost my income, got cut in half, but I did it. It was a sacrifice. Started a snowball that lasted for 27 years now. I have not worked for another person. Okay, and I've done 5 different businesses since then. Even when I moved to Georgia, I thought my photography was going to carry me. We got down here, I went from making I got down here and I ended up making $33,000 a year. I made 10 times that when I was in Michigan when I left. And I'm like, what am I going to do? Now I've snowballed that and got it back to places where it's manageable. But believe me, when I tell you, finding the time to hunt is not easy. Okay, but it is a choice. If it's a choice that fits you, you make it. If it's not, you find a way to make your hunting the way it is. But don't think for a second that I've had it easy, or there's been a cakewalk, or that I'm silver spoon, or my life is grand because I can do this. You have no idea the work that's involved. Look at other people. Look at Dan Infalt. How many times has he said about the sacrifices he's made his entire life to be able to spend time in the woods? Okay, look at James. Okay, look at how much James hunts and how hard he is. Believe me, he works his tail off and sacrifices to be able to do that stuff as much as he can in the off season. You guys have no idea how little that man sleeps and how much he's working nonstop every second he can so that he can take the time to do these things. Okay, Robert Carter, look at what he's done. He's built up he's done it all and been there, but he actually kept pushing and pushing, and as he climbed that ladder, he got to a point where he can work 3 days on and take 4 days off, and he works hard for 3 days, sometimes through the entire night. Literally, he'll go in and be there all night long, get out at 5 o'clock in the morning, just so he can do this stuff. So the game board may have changed from my days, trying to tell you to become a photographer, even when I started a pressure washing business, which went great, but then I moved down here and there's a million doing it. And anything that, gets popularized, a million people jump in and it gets saturated. The game board has changed, but most of you guys can still find a way. All right, I found a way. I had to change it 3 times in my life. I had to change my life around to make this stuff work and make it a reality. You can do the same, but time is where it's at. Pick up a second job in the summertime and tell your boss, or pick up more hours at work when it's off season and work extra weekends so that you can get more time. Take your wife on more trips and vacations and do things like that in the off season so that you can stock up those brownie points and let her know. Don't lie to her. It's in exchange for some time in the woods. But if you only hunted 10 times a year, 10 days a year, and you were able to pick up 2 more days, that's 20% increase. If you were to pick up 4 more days, that's 140% of your hunting that you've done. You gained. You get all that extra time. So you can do this. Do not be afraid of it. Use it to your advantage and find a way. But to think for a second or to get mad because you're only able to hunt 10 times a year, and not be able to be successful, that's very difficult to ask. Okay, it's very hard. It's a hard ask. It's hard to be successful with only 10 days a year to hunt. And then we have the other guys, okay? Oh, the other guys. These are the guys that are mad because they can't hunt. And then when you talk to them and you ask them what they do and how it works and all that kind of stuff, and you find out that they get out of work at 3:30 in the afternoon, and but it doesn't get dark until 5:30 or 6, yet they live 10 minutes away from their hunting property, and they're like, well, I can't hunt during the week. Why can't you hunt during the week after work? Well, I can't do that. Then I got to wash all my hunting clothes again, and I got to come home, and I got to change and get all my gear together and put everything there and get dressed. It's just too much of a hassle. I end up with 40 minutes in a tree stand. Do you know how many deer opportunities there are in 40 minutes in a tree stand? Do you know how many deer I have killed where I've went out for 30 or 40 minutes in a stand? Do you know how many times I have scouted and not found what I was looking for right up till the point I'm going, it's 30 minutes before dark, I have to climb. Boom, shoot up, and 10 minutes later I kill deer. Dozens. But you don't want to hunt because you're afraid of getting your clothes scented, and you don't think it's worth it to climb in a stand for 1 hour. I gotta carry all my gear, put it in my truck, bring it out there. I gotta hike in, then I gotta set up, and I'm gonna sit there and literally twiddle my thumbs for 45 minutes, then get down and do it all again. Yes, that's time in the woods during prime time. These guys too. Well, I gotta be at work at 9 o'clock. It's daylight at 6:30 or 7. Okay, get out there for an hour before. Then I got to come back and I got to change my clothes. Go out there in your clothes. Go buy an overall or a coverall overall setup of camouflage. Put it on. Kick your loafers off and undo your tie. Throw on your hunting boots in that coverall thing. Climb in a stand for an hour and see how it goes. And if it doesn't work, come down, rip off the coveralls, put your loafers on, tie your tie, get in the car, go to work. Okay, if you kill one, then you can come back at lunch and find it. Whatever the case is, time is there. If you want more time, you will find it. If you don't want more time, then you don't. It's that simple. That's what it boils down to. Everybody is in charge of their own life. Now, again, I'm not saying give up on this or change that or cut out family or give up work or anything like that. I'm saying if you want more time, start thinking of ways that you can change things in life so that you can get more time. Work, in my opinion, is sacrificial. Work means nothing. When I go to the grave, work doesn't remember me. Work means nothing other than collecting money, and you do what you love, and obviously I get all that stuff, but work is where I don't have a problem sacrificing. If I could work less, I'm gonna, okay, and hunt more. Family time I will not sacrifice. I've done it before, okay? Not intentionally and not a lot of it, not even knowing I was doing it, but when I'm but being part of my grandson's life now, I will give up hunting time any opportunity I can to spend with him. When I was raising my own kids, there was a lot of times I'm like, no, I'm going hunting. You guys have fun. See you tonight. So, and I understand both sides of that coin. So find a way to get the time without cutting out family, and find a way to figure out what you can do work-wise so you can get more time. Nobody else can do it for you. Nobody can answer the question. Nobody can tell you what to do. And nobody's going to do the work for you. It's all on you, but it's whether you want it or not. I chose it 27 years ago. Okay, I chose my choices, and I did the time, and I did the sacrifices, and I continued to 3 other times, including 1 2 years ago when I moved down here, that I had all these ideas of roses and how my businesses in Michigan will run just fine without me, and everybody will be perfect, and they'll all do a great job. And you know what? It failed, and it failed. I failed at running a business from 1,000 miles away and just couldn't keep it going, and that one ended up shutting down. Okay, but my anticipation of making all this money, well over 6 figures while I was down here hunting and living a dream, turned out to be making $33,000 and freaking out, and my savings account dropping like this every single day. I had to do something. Okay, another life altering at 48 years old. What do I do? I'm supposed to be retired. How do I do this? What do I do? I got hunting season coming. I cannot go get a normal job. I can't go sell cars or do this. I don't have the luxury. So instead, I found ways. Okay, I found ways and tripled that income in a few simple months here, making it happen. I am happy with that. If I can do it at 50 years old, you can do it too. Okay, find time. Figure it out. Take the risks, forget the analysis paralysis, and jump in. Otherwise, you're not going to get the reward out of the hunting that you want if you're looking for things. One of my best friends, guy hunts 3 days a year, 4 days a year, and he never scouts. He's got private land. He knows it. He doesn't need to do anything. He shoots a compound. He goes out there on opening day of bow season, and he kills a pope and young deer, and then he hangs out, and then he doesn't go back again until the opener of gun season. He goes out there with his bow during gun season, hangs out with his family, has the time of his life, enjoys everything, goes out there opening morning. He kills another pope and young deer. All of them are killing them that week, and then, it's heavily managed property. They come home, and it's good. And he's got a whole room filled with like 30 pope and young deer, all bow shot. Okay, that's fine. You can do that too. Figure out what works best for you when it comes to how to get the time in the woods. Thanks for watching.